This podcast may contain spoilers from whatever TV show or movie is mentioned. Please listen at your own discretion. Welcome to Viewers Anonymous.
What's going on? I am Scoots Bronson.
And I am S. Foster.
And this is Viewers Anonymous. What's going on with you, bro?
I can't call it, man. Just you know what I'm saying, pushing out this content, man. We had a busy weekend, man. You know, last couple of days, man. Been doing a lot of podding. But how about yourself, man?
Man, you know what I'm saying? Back at the baseball fields, man, hobbling around like an little old man. So, you know what I'm saying? Both my sons got a game today, so I'm kind of back and forth trying to see what the other team doing. I'm at one, my wife at the other, so.
Look at y'all, boy. Look at that parenting, boy. I'm saying, one of them Robinsons, boy.
Yeah,
can't mess with them, boy.
Trying to do the right thing, man.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. For sure. Ain't nothing wrong with that, man. You know what I'm saying? Back I say got you back out the lab again. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But we still pushing out this content though. You know what I'm saying? People ain't even gonna know the difference.
They might just a bit. We live on location, so you know what I'm saying? We doing what we do.
Yes, sir, man. Ain't nothing wrong with it, man. But yeah, man, we got one for y'all today, man. Like this was I remember the first time I seen this movie. You know what I'm saying? This is like fresh out of high school. You know what I'm saying? I graduated in 2004. And I seen this, man, and I'm like, yo, like, all right. So we're doing the 2004 film, you know what I'm saying? The Day After Tomorrow. You know what I'm saying?
Sir.
Dennis Quaid,
and Jake
Gyllenhaal,
mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Emmy Rossum, like, you know what I'm saying? My girl Fiona Gallagher. You know what I'm saying?
Hold on
real
quick before we get into it. Bro, I just found out that the girl who played what's her name in X-Men? Kitty
in the X-Men?
Yeah. Was she in X-Men? I think she was in X-Men. No, she was. I don't know if she was in X-Men. I don't remember. I want to say she was, but I know for a fact she was in. She was Leonardo DiCaprio's protege in Inception.
Oh, well, her name is Elliot Page.
Yeah,
now.
I just found that out. That's crazy.
Yeah, I thought we talked about that. I remember. Well, I was about to say it. I'm sorry.
And it slipped past me.
Because I was about to slip up and say she again, but because I was actually, you know, it's funny you bring that up but this ain't the same girl, but
yeah,
but it's funny you bring that up because literally this weekend I was just talking to my old lady and I don't remember how they got brought up, but I said I was like they play in the Umbrella Academy and they transition themselves into a man and they go by the name Elliot Page now.
Right.
And I said the crazy thing is the people that do Umbrella Academy said that they're not going to recast them. And I'm like, well, how are they going to do? Oh, I know. She showed me a picture. She got her breast taken off.
Yeah, I know. I just seen the picture where I seen it on Instagram. Motherfucker buff, man.
Yeah, that too. And I was like, yo, how they still gonna play the person in Umbrella Academy, man? I said that's not gonna work out too well.
I'm jealous,
man. But you know what though? It's funny you say that. But at the same time, she was like, she think that they trying to do the PC thing and not like fire them from the show. But it's like at the same time, it's like they play a girl on the show. Like I don't see
you gotta write that in to where now she's a he.
I mean, I guess, man.
I mean, it ain't hard to do.
Nah.
You know what I mean?
But I mean, that was a prominent character in the Umbrella Academy, though. So
that's true. Maybe that could be like part of the power. It changes into a dude.
Look, That's a great idea.
I mean, you know what I'm saying?
That's a
You
great
gotta be
idea.
able to. You don't want to ruin your show, man. But
Yeah,
you know how that
true,
is.
true. Yeah, but I see where you got that from, cause old girl name is Emmy. So, you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Emmy, Ella,
Yep.
uh Elliot. So it's all ease. Um but like, yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? This was before she was Fiona Gallagher, man.
hmm
Um but yeah, man, this is one of my favorite disaster movies, man. I remember telling you before, and you gave me the all-time response too. I told you before, I said this movie and Twister is one of my favorite like disaster movies, right? Even though
hmm
Twister wasn't really a disaster movie, it was just, out in the Midwest, that's just like the type of weather that they get.
They
But
were storm chasers and Twister though,
yeah.
wasn't they?
And
Yeah.
I remember I told you, I said I wanted to be I said if I was
Oh
rich and didn't
yeah,
have
you
no
was talking
kids, I
about
wanted to
crazy
be a
shit.
storm chaser. There ain't no
Yeah.
crazy shit. Dude, I would love
Man,
to
you
do that,
batshit
dude.
crazy. You out here chasing tornadoes, brother. What are you talking about? Why would you?
Hey,
Why would you want to do something like that?
hey, I just found a thrill in it, man. Like I've always wanted to even though I've been in semi involved in a tornado.
hmm
Like 2 years ago, we had a bad tornado come through on my route.
Yeah.
But I mean, I didn't get to see it. All I got to see was like the whole, like everything just turned great, and it just sounded like a train, dude. It was crazy, man. It was so crazy, and I was lucky. I was lucky enough to do a stop.
Yeah.
It was like my phone started going off,
hmm
and I was like, man, we get tornado warnings all the time. Ain't no tornado gonna come. And then so I made my delivery, and then I'm coming out, and then the people power was off.
Oh shit.
So I was like, oh man, I pop out. They're like, yeah. And then I go to walk out the door, and like it's just all gray, and like you can't see nothing, and it just sounds like a train. And it
hmm
lasted for like 10, 15 seconds. And dude, it damaged so much stuff, man. Within 10, 15 seconds, man, it was insane. But but yeah, I've always wanted to see, man. Oh, this is another thing. All right, see, I be embarrassing myself too much on this podcast. So I had a dream one time, dude. I was young, man. I was like, I don't know, 10, 11 years old.
hmm
And I had a dream. I was at my mom's house, and there was a tornado outside. I think I must have had just seen Twister. I don't know what happened. But I can remember like vividly, dude, like vividly. I still can like see it to this day. Where
Yeah.
like there was a tornado, and it like my dumb ass, instead of going into the bathroom like to tell you to, I went into the closet. And so I go into the closet, and the whole roof went out the house, and I could just remember like visualizing this tornado. Like, dude, it was like right in front of me. I could feel the wind and everything, and I could just see it vividly, man. And it's just, I think that's what really gave me like this. I mean, not this passion. I wouldn't call it a passion, but
hmm
like that just gave me this thing of like wanting to see one like in person. And like if I would have had the resources and actually was like great in science, then maybe that's something I could have, steered myself to. But I love disaster movies, man. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to call it love, but because they say that there is some truth to this stuff, that
Very
there could
interesting.
be. Yeah, it's very interesting because it's like when they tell you that, oh, well, we went through this ice age and and global warming, and see that's what makes it scary. It's
hmm
the whole conversation of global warming, right? Because the way the movie started was, what I'm saying, Dennis Quaid was down there with his with his two partners, and like they are like, I think they're like taking like pieces of ice down in Antarctica, and
Yeah.
like they like bring it back to like research it and all this little stuff, whatever. And
Right.
so the dude is drilling, and then all of a sudden the whole uh like ice cap thing just broke off in half. And when he had this interview, not interview, but when he was talking to the vice president, he was saying that a whole ice cap broke off at the size of Rhode Island. Like I wouldn't call that a small thing. And it's like, so it started like that, and it's just like when you hear things about how when you see, have you when the dude, have you seen those pictures that's going over the internet of those polar bears when they're like losing weight because
Yeah,
like
yeah,
and
that's crazy.
dude, there's actually global warming going on, man. That's what makes it so scary, man. Is because it's like there to every movie there's some truth to it. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Just like all of these alien movies that come out, it's just like there's some truth to it, man. So like,
Right.
I don't know, man. I don't know, man. What you got?
Man, this is for me. Just one of those movies that what I'm saying. Like I just told you off air. Like it used to always come on FX, and I was more excited about 2012 coming out when that what I'm saying when that was coming out. That's the movie that I was going to. So when I finally actually seen The Day After Tomorrow, I was like, oh, this is way better because what I'm saying. Like it's so much. What I'm saying, so many different things that you get to see. What I'm saying, like the whole freezing and the what I'm saying the water rising and all that different stuff. Like it's like your worst fear on every little what I'm saying thing that could happen at the end of the world, and it's like all in this movie. And
Yeah,
I'm
like
excited to see it.
they give you everything but a volcano erupted. Like
Right.
everything happened, man. Like when they one of the scenes that I felt was the dopest was when the three British helicopters was flying, and they ended up going into the eye of the storm. You remember I
Hmm.
told you, I got to say it again, man. The air was coming from the troposphere.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it was coming. So it was coming from there, and
Yeah.
like the degrees dropped like 10 degrees per second or some shit like that. And
Right.
so the helicopters are going, and then it shows you something different for each three of the helicopters. It showed you something different every time.
Hmm.
And then like they started with what happened was the fuel lines froze. And then when that one guy on that one professor that was in like Greenland, I can't remember exactly where he was, but he called what's my man? What's Dennis Quaid name? Jack Hall. He called Jack and was like, he said, "What's the degrees that it has to be for a fuel line and a helicopter to freeze?" He was like negative 120 degrees. Can you
That's crazy.
imagine?
No,
Like,
absolutely not. Bro, it's hard when it's hard when it's literally -1 degree outside. So -120, like that's ridiculous. Ain't no way
and
anything is surviving.
nah, and see, and they did a great setup. Like the great setup to that was um so what's my man name? So Sam, Laura,
Hmm.
and Brian went to like this museum with JD and Brian. Oh, hold on. Before I get into Brian, listen, Brian, why did the black community let this go down like this? Did you see my man hairline in this movie?
Ah man, it's come on, man.
His hairline was round, my guy. Like it had
That's
no lines in it
Hey
or
man,
nothing.
we didn't say nothing about Drake having that same hairline on Degrassi, man. Just let it ride, bro. Just let it ride. You know what I'm saying? Drake had the same hairline in Degrassi, bro.
Yo, but his hairline was so jacked up, my guy.
Wayne Brady had it for a minute too.
Yo, come on, man. You can't let nobody round you out like that, man. That's that hairline. That's the roundabout, man.
Hey man,
Um,
that's the created player preset 2 haircut.
oh man. So they at the museum and damn what those things called. I can't remember exactly what the animal was, but they said that they when they found it, it froze with food still in his mouth,
Hmm.
indicating that it froze instantly. And so like then like they showed you that part and then they go to the helicopter scene. So they set it up because then they show you when the last helicopter go down and it shows you my dude take his last breath and just froze like
Yeah,
within seconds. And it's like I can't imagine that, man. Like
bro, 100 -120, bro. That's like some Pluto shit.
man, that
Like
is
that's
like
like That's literally like, you know what I'm saying? Like the sun ain't touching nothing.
But you know the thing about it, with it freezing that fast, it can't be painful
Oh
because it
yeah, I
happens
doubt
so
that.
quick.
Yeah,
It
I doubt you feel anything.
Yeah, because it happens so quick, man. It's to see that, man, like on film, like they did a phenomenal job, man. The dude, oh man, I know his name Emery, Ronald Emmerich. Like
Mm-hmm.
he's another one of those guys, man. Like he's not made some really good films, man.
Yeah.
Like he really has, like, you know what I'm saying. He was a writer on Independence Day. He did both of them, man. He did one of the Godzillas. Um, I mean, he did White House Down, which I like. White House Down.
White
That
House Down
shit
was a great movie.
that was a great movie,
Yeah, that
man.
was a
I
great movie.
really, really, yeah, I really liked it, that one. You know what I'm saying? He did 2012. So
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying? He did 10,000 BC. Like, see, he's into this type
Now,
shit.
my only beef for 10,000 BC was it was a bootleg version of Apocalypto.
Okay, I can see that. I
Yeah,
can see that.
that was my only beef with it. Because if you ever seen Apocalypto and then you go watch 10,000 BC, it's the same movie except 10,000 BC is just older.
Yeah, you're right. But he's one of those dudes, like he's in that lane, like he's in that
Mm-hmm.
lane of, end of the world, and you know what I'm saying? Because I thought White House Down was actually, I mean, the way that they took over the White House, I thought it was a smart way to take it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, but to get back to this movie, man, like the premise of it basically, because I didn't really give it a rundown, like, so Jack, played by Dennis Quaid, is a climatologist working for the government, and his son Sam, which is, what I'm saying, pretty much got the same brain that he has. Like one of the iconic scenes in that movie is when Jack called and was like, he saw Sam's report card. He
Mm-hmm.
was like, he failed geometry or something. And then she was like, I know. She was like, maybe he can explain it to you if you take him to the airport tomorrow. And so she was like, "Don't be late." So he's late like always. He
Yeah.
picks him up, and he's like, "How did you flunk this class?" And he was like, "I got every answer on the test right." And he said the teacher said that he had to be cheating, and he
Yeah.
said because he did the answers in his head. he said, so how can the teacher be mad at you because you're smarter than he is? He said, that's what I said. And it was so funny because he started grinning. He said,
Yeah.
how did he take it? He's like, he flunked me, Dad. He was like, I'm gonna call up there and talk to him. But anyway, he's Jack is all about, trying to prevent what happened, 10,000 years ago or whatever. Like he knows because he put together this model of
Mm-hmm.
saying that what happens in this movie, these events that happen, he said it's gonna happen to, like, well, he said it was more like 1,000 years from now, something like that, or
Right.
100. It was one of them, and he was like, if the government start taking the chances, not the chances, but start taking the not it's not
Precautions.
precautions of trying to fix this stuff now, that
Mm-hmm.
our kids and grandkids won't have to deal with this later. But the vice president is bitching about, like, we can't put this much money into this, and it's just a theory, all this type of shit. So anyway, so all of these events that he thought that wasn't going to happen to 100 or so many years from now, it actually started happening that week.
Yep.
So Sam joins this team. I forget what the kind of type of team it is, and because they're located in Washington D.C. And Sam joins his team with Laura and Brian, and they go up to Manhattan to compete in this thing. You know what I'm saying? You know the type of shit that you used to do. And
Debate
so,
team.
so they up there, and
No, they
what
was on
happened?
quiz team.
Yeah, it was. I forget what they called it.
Yeah.
But so he is basically trapped in New York, and his dad is like, "Yo, I'm coming to get you." So really, the whole premise of the movie is all this bad weather is happening. Jack is going to go save his son. His wife is a doctor. She's trying to take care of this one kid. Everybody done dipped out on her because the one kid needed an ambulance to transport him, but all the ambulance people now took off. So now she made the executive decision to risk her own life to stay here with this sick kid that's probably going to die in like 2 weeks anyway.
Right.
But yeah, man, that's really the premise of the movie. It's some other shit that happened in between. But what you got, man?
Man, I like this movie because, man, like this is one of those movies where in your head, you know what I'm saying, like you always like kind of think the worst. Well, if you always kind of think the worst, this is one of those movies that make it 10 times 10 times worse than what it already is. And that's me 100%, bro. Like, man, the craziest part for me was the one scene where was they on the subway or getting off a train or I think it was like a train or something like that, and the water starts seeping up, and they had to crawl their way or swim their way out of the tunnel or something like that.
I don't remember that. I don't know. They weren't on the subway.
Cause they were. I don't know I forgot where they was at, but I know they was like they was getting out of they was getting out of wherever they were. It was underground, but the water was like flooding wherever they were at. And I think he was trying to like call his dad or something to let him know.
Oh yeah, that was
everything that was going on.
Yeah, that was like the mid level of the library. They was in the library.
Yeah, okay, they was at the library.
Public library.
I was laughing because like when I seen that, it reminded me of Titanic. Remember toward the end of Titanic when it was all like when Jack and Rose was going around trying to figure out how to get out.
Yeah.
So that's what that scene always remind me of. But man, it was cool, man. Like the graphics in this movie were amazing. You know what I'm saying? The artwork for the cover was amazing too, because all you see is like this big patch of ice, and then you see like the head of the Statue of Liberty. And that kind of throw you off because you like, man, what the fuck kind of movie is this? So like, you know what I'm saying? Like you just see everything that ends up culminating and happening, and it's like, oh shit. And all they had to do was just, you know what I'm saying, listen to what my man Dennis Quaid told them. And we'd have never been in this situation.
Oh, it wouldn't have been as bad because like he tried to tell him, like, you know what I'm saying, to evacuate the northern states because it really affected the northern hemisphere. You know what I'm saying?
So,
like if he was
maybe they was right when they said the South was gonna rise again.
Man, this fucking guy, man. Listen. That shit ain't funny. Yo, they had to make a deal. Hey, they had to make a deal with Mexico and everything, man.
Hey, that's crazy.
Because, dude, it was so many people at the border, man. Mexico said, we ain't letting all y'all motherfuckers in.
Bro,
so
can you imagine that happening now, bro? They'd never make a deal with Mexico.
Man, they said it was some shit like they had to, some kind of debt. They basically had to write off some kind of debt. And that's how they formed this treaty. Was because they was like, man, look, y'all owe us this money, but we just gonna say fuck all that, man. If you just let the people in, they say forget all that.
That is crazy. Can you imagine all the motherfuckers that's like they go from a rally talking about like build a wall and then turn around and then they trying to get into Mexico?
Dude, that'd be so damn funny.
And then it's a big ass tidal wave right behind them when they trying to get into shit. That shit is crazy.
Yo, that tidal wave was so nuts, man. But you want to know the all time though, man, because you know I got a thing with tornadoes, man. When they was showing Los Angeles, man, all time scene. So my man working at the weather center, you know what I'm saying, he about to smash old girl, and then they hear something. And so my man look out the door, and the Mexican dude is buffering the floor.
Yeah.
And then my man turned the buffer off, and he hear the phone ringing. So he gonna answer the phone, and they're like, "Yo, it's It's they might need to issue a no, the hell was coming down. And
Mm-hmm.
see the shit it happened in Tokyo first. Man, that hell was the size of a damn not a baseball but a
Bowling
softball.
ball. Them
But
motherfuckers
yeah,
bowling balls, boy.
man, that shit was nuts, man.
Yeah,
And
man.
so it started happening in Los Angeles, and the dude was like, "Man, it's hell." He said size of golf ball, but that shit was not no size no golf ball.
Mm-hmm.
And so my man calls his boss. He's like, "Yo, like I think we need to issue a tornado warning." And so the dude get up, and then man, all these man, it's like 6 tornadoes out there, man. 2 tornadoes went into one, and all that shit. And the all-time scene is my man. Well, it's a lot of stuff that happened because my man that was doing the news, he got smacked by a sign, and then
Oh, bro, you talking about the shit that scared the shit out of me when that shit happened? Like, bro, like when you go to the movies and like some shit happen, you jump, bro. I jumped on that because that shit was so unexpected.
yo, that is funny. That is so funny. And then and then what made me, because the one thing that made me say, "Oh,"
Mm-hmm.
was when it. I mean, it was that, and it was also when my man got back in his Porsche and that bus rolled over his car.
Oh
I
man,
was like, "Oh!" And then the phone hung up on him, dude. But then the all-time part though is when my man that was in that was about to get some. He go back to the room where old girl is, and then they're just standing there looking out the window, and then that tornado ripped the whole, not the whole building, but that whole room that he was in. All he had to do was leave girl in there by herself.
he'd have been
Nah,
safe.
he would have been straight, man. He was in there with her, and half of that building got taken off.
Hey man, the
And
things
I
you do to get some, brother. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? That thing powerful.
I'm
You know what
telling
I'm
you,
saying?
and it's just like that's the wild thing about tornadoes because that shit can really happen. It just took off just enough to
Mm-hmm.
take that room out
Mm-hmm.
of there, and the dude that was buffering the floors, he good because he opened up that door and everything is gone.
Oh man, he was looking at the goddamn ocean almost, boy. He was looking all the way down, like, oh hell no. That was
Yeah,
crazy too. But my whole thing is, man, like to see New York frozen, like to see the East Coast frozen the way it was, like to me that wasn't as far fetched as like people tried to. Well, I don't think people really try to make it seem like that, but it just for me it wasn't that far fetched to even believe something like that is possible. Because it's like think about when what I'm saying, like New York have those snowstorms and what I'm saying, all those, what I'm saying, weather conditions and it'd be super, super cold. Like it'd be like -10, -16. Like that's the type of shit New York gets. So for me, it was like when I seen that, I was like, oh yeah, that's definitely possible.
yeah, like what and see this movie, man. It has so much. Man, this you know what? This movie should have been called Eye Candy, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Because it's so much eye candy in this, man. Like when that tidal wave came up
Oh
above
man.
the it started at the Statue of Liberty, dude,
Mm-hmm.
and then it just went like all through the city, and then it just showed you like all of that, and like it was just like that was one of those things where you like literally like sitting at the edge of your seat, like yo, like this is nuts, and then to see that and like you said for it to freeze over. But one of the parts that got to be mentioned is so like you mentioned the one part where he went down and called his dad.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So he called his dad and it's like, Dad, what's going on out here? And he told him, like, listen, son, he was like, whatever you do, don't go outside, stay in, wait it out. He was like, you know,
That nigga was
the
in the
storm.
goddamn in building swimming pool. He trying to get out. He talking about stay in. No, nigga. I'm about to drown, motherfucker. That was the most ironic scene in the movie.
Oh man. So he so he told him to, to stay in and he's like, because it's gonna get so cold, you know what I'm saying? He's like the only difference is like, you could freeze to death. So fast forward, so all these people in the library and they start seeing people is walking on top of the ice at this point because it froze over. Now a little bit too fast. I get back to it because got to talk about this. So while they was in there chilling before it froze over, just big ass German ship just shows up outside out of nowhere, just floats all the way to where they are in the Liberia.
It was floating through the city.
Dude, crazy, running over cars and buses and everything.
Yeah.
So go back to that scene. So the our man Glenn Plummer, you know what I'm saying? OG Bobby Johnson.
OG Bobby Johnson.
Yeah, OG Bobby Johnson. He outside letting his dog take a piss, and then he's like, "Yo, it's thousands of people just outside walking on top of the ice." So the one cop that was in there, he got the brilliant idea. Well, hey, y'all, let's leave and start heading south or whatever. So Sam and Laura's talking. Laura's like, "Yo, Sam, you got to tell them like they can't go outside." So he's trying to convince everybody, tell them like if you go outside, you're gonna freeze to death and all this type shit. And everybody took the advice of the cop and they left. And so the ironic thing is, probably like 35 more minutes in the film, when his dad get closer to New York, well, his dad was pretty much in New York at that point.
Yeah.
And you start seeing all these dead people on the ground, and then they show that cop to show you like that was them. And my question to you is, that speech that Sam made, would have convinced you to stay?
I wouldn't have been willing to leave no one. There would have been no need to convince me at all. When the scientist man says don't go nowhere because if you go outside you're gonna freeze to death, that's all I need to hear. The scientist man is the one I'm following. I'm not following the cops. Nigga, you supposed to rescue me and like, physical threats, stuff like that. Like, that's when you on duty. You off duty at this point, sir. This is the weather. There's nothing that you can do as a police officer against the weather. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not worried about him telling me let's go. No, you go ahead. I'll wait with the scientist man.
Yeah, I would have been like, "What? Your daddy work well?" He said, "What? All right,
right?
All right, we good. Like we good. Like
anything,
I wouldn't have need
anything with a ologist or ist or anything like that on the end of it. Yeah, I'm listening to him. Unless he's a copologist, I'm cool."
A copologist.
Yeah.
Oh man. But yeah, because he said that his dad was a climatologist for the government and said, "Yo, you can freeze to death." And it's just like, I would have been, dude, it would have been no question. I would have been like, "All right, I'm staying behind."
I'm telling you.
Shit, OG Bobby Johnson stayed behind.
Yeah, OG Bobby Johnson wasn't no idiot. He knew not to trust the police, no way.
Like, hell no, man. I'm staying in here, man. He said, "What? All right." You know what I'm saying? We're gonna rock it out. But so obviously the movie gotta throw you some turns. You know what I'm saying? So one of the turns was when that huge tidal wave was coming through, right?
Yeah.
There was this French lady and her daughter was stuck in this cab. And so Laura sees them, and so Laura goes back to go help the cop get them out the car. So the lady so they get him out the car, and the lady left her purse. So Laura goes back to get her purse, gets the purse, comes out, and she scrapes her leg on like a tag from like in front of a tag. She thought it was nothing. So anyway, fast forward. So now they sitting there, and like she has this fever. So this lady pulls out a book, start reading the book. Like, do she have this? What kind of symptoms she got? And then the old girl remembered when Laura said that she had a cut on her leg, but it ain't nothing. Check out the cut on the leg; it's infected, and they need some penicillin. And so,
man, out of all the times for you to need medicine,
yeah, the time and then there just happened to be the ship that just shows up. They're like, "Yo, there's got to be some medicine on that ship." So they go to the ship, and it's like, everything cool, right? Nah, the pack of wolves that done broke out the damn zoo.
In the
these,
goddamn ship.
these motherfuckers done climb into the ship. They come get them. And so then, of course, you know what I'm saying, somebody got to get bit. So JD's the one to get bit. And no, but the all time part though, I love this part. And I watched it yesterday and it still got me yesterday. So they find the medicine cabinet, right? And so they look into the medicine cabinet, it was like everything's in German. And so then Brian says, "Yo, I found it." He said, "How do you know?" He said, it says penicillin on the bottle." I thought that shit was so fucking funny, but it still get me.
That's
But
hilarious.
so then, you know what I'm saying, the dogs catch him, and then so what's my man name? Sam. Sam is like, "Yo, I'm gonna go lure the wolves out, and y'all get the food and the medicine, all that type of shit." So he lured the wolves out, lock them up into this room, and then on their way back, that's when the air from the trophy spear, you know what I'm saying, started coming down. Started coming down because the one thing is like it does educate you a little bit because it's like I remember in science class where they says basically the largest differences between a hurricane and a tornado. Tornadoes form on land and hurricanes form over water.
Yeah.
And in this case, the three superstorms was hurricanes, but it was forming on land. And that's why the air for the troposphere was coming down because I think that when it goes I think when it forms over water, I guess it just don't get that cold that fast. But
Yeah.
I guess when it forms over land, it messes up the balance and it makes it to where the degrees drop 10 degrees per second or some shit like that. So I don't know. I thought it was educational as well.
Yeah. It was very educational, like, and then it, you know what I'm saying, it made you curious to kind of get a little bit more into the weather, kind of pay attention and find out, you know what I'm saying, why certain stuff the way it is, and, you know what I'm saying, that kind of stuff. Like, I know it definitely had me looking up tidal waves for at least a good 2-3 weeks. For real. Especially because remember it was like the typhoon that happened in like Thailand or something like that. Like all that
Yeah, I
stuff was
remember
happening
that.
and Katrina and all that. I was like, yeah, let me check these tidal waves out, see what this is really about.
Yeah, it did what it also does is like I remember when Katrina happened. I mean, I didn't know this until a
Well,
couple of years
that
after.
happened afterwards, right? That happened in what 2005.
I think it was 2005.
Yeah, I believe Katrina was 2005. But I mean, this was one of those movies that if you know what I'm saying, when you seen it, you was like, oh shit, this could be it.
Because I remember Uncle Washington was telling me, he said what made Katrina, what a lot of people don't realize, what made Katrina so bad was, he said, it was the dams.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that this is the problem. He was like, out of the whole United States, there are only like 2 or 3 dam inspectors.
Right.
And he said that the hugest problem was the dam was outdated. Like it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't up to standards, and that's why it broke, and that's why all the water went through New Orleans the way that it did.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, that's kind of dumb. I was like, it makes more sense to have at least 48, to at least to have one in every state that touches. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe we
Yeah.
don't need 50, but you know what I'm saying? We at least probably need 48 of them. Assign one person to each state to examine these dams so this type of shit don't happen, anywhere or whatnot. But like I mean, this type of situation, this movie, it wouldn't have mattered. Like the dam is done. It don't matter.
Man, they
I
could
was
have
just
had they could have had a super beaver build that motherfucker. It wouldn't have made no difference, bro.
yeah, that would have made. I was just you just brought up Katrina, and I was
Mm-hmm.
just like, that's one thing that I've learned, like about why Katrina was so bad, and it was the fact that the dams was outdated and like it wasn't up to standards.
Yeah,
But yeah, this movie it wouldn't have made no difference. It wouldn't have made
man.
a difference. But
I
this is
don't think anything would have helped in this movie, bro. It just seemed like whatever could go wrong went wrong at the right time.
exactly, My thing is, how much? If you had to estimate, what's your number of what we saw happen in Los Angeles and what
Mm-hmm.
we saw happen in New York? Let's just take those two cities by themselves.
Yeah.
How much damage? What's the cost you think to get that shit back in order, man?
Oh,
Because
easily $1 billion per city. Easily.
dude, I think it's more than $1 billion. I mean, because you gotta think about it. They gotta. Let's take New York,
Mm-hmm.
dude. First and foremost, there was ships just all over the place. So
Mm-hmm.
those bitches got to be moved. It's gonna cost money to get those moved. There's cars
Bro,
all
how
over
do
the
you
place.
move? How do you move a fucking cruise ship off the Empire State Building?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like,
That is a question that needs answers.
yo, it was so much damage. And think about the water damage. Think about the subways, because remember when OG Bobby Johnson was sitting in front of that building and he started seeing all that water come out of that thing. And it's like, dude, all of the subways flooded.
Mm-hmm.
So you also got to think about that. The subway system is totally destroyed. They got to redo all of that. Like the damage cost is, oh man. Like, see, I be thinking about dumb shit like that now when I'm older. Like, I didn't think about that when I first saw it when I
Oh yeah,
was,
you
you
definitely
know,
thinking about that now because now you know how much it costs, and you know what I'm saying. Think about all your tax money. Taxes about to be high as hell. You know what
oh,
I'm saying? Taxes about to be through the roof.
dude, man, I can't imagine if something like that happened now and the taxes that's gonna be coming out of our damn checks, man.
Man, that's it,
Like,
bro.
I can't imagine, dude.
You can't even move nowhere because it's gonna be everywhere.
Dude, just imagine, dude. Just imagine, man. I can't. It's nuts, man. Could you but what you got on that though, man?
Man, the question that you asked really that was very very thoughtful. You know what I'm saying? To go and think about just the damage that was in L.A. and you know what I'm saying in New York, and then like you gotta think about it too. Like with L.A., you know what I'm saying they had earthquakes in there too, so there's certain shit you can't even get back. You know what I'm saying? Some shit is now like I don't know. You gotta call that like California Island or Little California or something. Like it's some shit you just can't even replaced at that point. You know what I'm saying? Once them fault lines and everything get hit, it's like it's an L regardless. So, you know what I'm saying? Like that's crazy to even, you know what I'm saying, think about. Um what I would have been interested in though for was them focusing more like in the you know what I'm saying, like in the Midwest, you know what I'm saying, and in the South, like to see those areas and how that affect them because you kind of know what's gonna happen on the coast, right? You know what I'm saying? You kind of know like you know what I'm saying? There's gonna be a bunch of floods, hurricanes. You know what I'm saying? It kind of shook me up with the frozen sea that was in New York. But you know what I'm saying? You kind of know like that's what's kind of gonna happen, but you don't really know what's gonna happen like in the Midwest. You know what I'm saying? Like, is it gonna be like a flock of hurricanes? I mean, not hurricanes, like a flock of tornadoes everywhere. Is it gonna be some earthquakes? You know what I'm saying? Are we gonna have like crazy weather here and there. Like you never know because like in the Midwest, it's already like that now. Like one day you wake up at 70, the next day you wake up it's 20 degrees. So you know what I'm saying. I just wanted to see a little bit more from you know what I'm saying those Midwestern states.
I see what you're saying, but I think what also made it interesting was the fact of the tornadoes in Los Angeles because they don't get tornadoes.
Exactly.
So I
Yeah.
think that what the movie was trying to show us was like this is the place that don't get this extreme weather. All they really get is not hurricanes, but earthquakes.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That's something else that we didn't get. Now we got that in 2012, and we got that in San Andreas. You ever seen San Andreas?
Yeah, with the Rock.
Yeah. Like, what's so funny, man?
Nothing, man. You know what I'm saying. This nigga saved the he saved California with a helicopter, man. The things that this nigga can do with vehicles is amazing.
Hey, man.
First he saved the world with a Hummer in Fast and Furious. Now he saved California with a helicopter.
Oh man. But the thing about San Andreas though, man, was the fact of like they say that like you know California can get one of those
Yeah,
earthquakes where it breaks that shit off like that. You
yeah,
know what I'm
man.
saying? Like that's something else that some scientists predict that's gonna happen at some point. Like they say
Yeah,
Florida, they say Miami's gonna be underwater in like 30 years or some shit like
yeah,
that.
because of
The
the
global
the level is rising. The sea level is rising too. You know what I'm saying? With the
and the ice caps freezing.
yeah, the ice caps were melting.
Melting, damn, my bad.
Yeah, they actually, you know what I'm saying? So since they melting, you know what I'm saying, that water level is rising up. So I mean, I don't know, man. You know, you kind of don't know what to believe. You kind of just gotta put your, trust in it. And for me, I kind of, see what you see what the evidence is. You know what I'm saying? Like you said earlier, you got skinny polar bears. You know what I'm saying? You ain't seen a skinny polar bear since you went and got an icy at the movie. So this, you know what I'm saying? Like it's that type of, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, this movie
Man,
was dope though, man.
I'm not fooling with you, man. Uh, but yeah, like we didn't get into the love story thing, man. I mean, Sam really joined the team because of Laura and all of
hmm
that shit. But like, and then it's just really, man, it's just a loving father, man, going to
Yeah,
get his son. Like that's really what this movie is. It's about, you know, but also they throw the government under the bus. You know what I'm
hmm
saying? He tried to tell the vice president a couple of times. He didn't want to listen. And and then he ended up taking accountability because the real president, died. Helicopter went down, and then he became president. And then he want to apologize and take blame and all this type of shit. Now, after he could have saved thousands of lives, but
hmm
but yeah, like I also thought that was dope because I think what Emirates was trying to show us was like, yo, like the government, these motherfuckers, like now, like there's some people like I ain't trying to make this into this type of podcast, but most Republicans don't think global warming is a real thing.
Well, I mean, hey, you know what I'm saying? It's like in the movie, they'll be the first to find out. Shit, you know what I'm saying? Like you can't make nobody believe nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like they say, seeing is believing. So sometimes you just gotta, let them take that L. I mean, if it happens to be the state of New York freezing over from
Oh, like we lost Scoots, but but yeah, man, like it's one of those things where they also they throw the government under. Well, I don't know. I'm not gonna say necessarily threw them, what I'm saying, under the bus, but he did put some accountability out there of like, yo, if we don't start taking the necessary causes that we need to start making to prevent something like this from happening, because like I understand what the vice president was saying in one scene, where the vice president was like, because he asked Sam, not Sam, Sam is the son. He asked Jack like, what should we do? And he was like, evacuate. He drew a line. He had a map of the United States and drew a line that said we need to evacuate everybody south of this line. And he was like, yo, I don't want to abandon half of the country. And he was like, why should we take Hall's word on what he's doing? He was like, because he said he was wrong before, and what if he's wrong this time? And so then his partner, well, not his partner, but this guy that Jack worked for, oh man, I can't remember what my dude name was. Oh man, what was his name? I forgot what his name was. But anyway, he was like, why should we he said before you start questioning his motives, he was like his son is in Manhattan. And so he was, and then the president was like, yo, because it was like the president, the vice president, this general, all of these like important people are all sitting in this room, and so he's like, yo, in battle, he's like, you got to make these tough decisions. Like sometimes you got to make these risky decisions. And so then the president was like, all right, we're gonna evacuate everybody south of this line. We're gonna go with Hall's plan and all of this stuff. So it's just one of those things where I think that Emmer is he's trying to paint a picture, and like I say, he's done these type films before. He did it with 2012.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? He did it with White House Down. Like he's one of those directors who is I think, oh, what would you call it? Because there's other directors that are out there. I mean, like Ron Howard is doing this whole thing, like with the Da Vinci Code thing.
Oh yeah, I mean you could
Trio.
you could call him a visionary for sure.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. Visionary,
Yeah,
man.
for sure.
And he's making these films to get people to see, like, yo, there's an issue here, and like if the only
Mm-hmm.
way I can get y'all to get down with it is to show you through my art, then this is what I got to do.
Right. Yeah, man.
Yeah,
I
man.
lost the signal real quick, but yeah, man. I'm ready for the fire flames, man. You good?
Man, let's do it.
All right, cool.
Yoga fire! Yoga flame!
All right, man. It's fire flame time. Are you going first or am I going first?
Well, you got it, man. I did it the last time.
Okay. Well, it's easy, man. 3.5. 3.5. For me, it's the graphics. The storyline wasn't as good as it could have been, but you know what I'm saying. The graphics made up for it with everything that kind of happened. A lot of it was unexpected, and then on top of that, you know what I'm saying, it had a great cast with some great actors in it. So I'm gonna give it a 3.5.
Okay, I ain't mad at it. I feel you. I feel you on the storyline, but I feel like that's what all movies do. There's always like this love story in there. There's always, people sacrificing themselves. It's just like, I guess I've never been in that type of situation where people, because it seemed like in movie people are always quick to kill themselves. Like Frank had to kill himself because he went through that building when he dropped in the mall and he had to sacrifice himself. His ex-wife sacrificed herself. So it's just like, I don't know. But I'm kind of with you, man. As much as I like this movie and the graphics were great, man. Man, I'm right where you at, man. I'm dancing around that 3.5, man.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, it's you know what I'm saying. It's more like a 3.8 because I just love like these type of disaster movies because I love the visuals
Yeah.
of it. And like I said earlier, it's like eye candy. But I mean, really, I mean, I look at the cast. I mean, so there's you know what I'm saying, three noticeables and a possible. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't that many people in it, but I'm a roll with a 3.5 like you, man.
Okay, then. That sound like a good one, man. So this next one that we got is well, we can't really even talk about it yet. It ain't even out yet.
Yeah, it ain't out yet, man. It's one that's gonna be dropping soon. I think
Brand spanking new.
Brand spanking new, man. We got something coming for y'all that's gonna be man, it's gonna be devilish, man. It's gonna be
Word.
devilish.
Yeah, it's gonna be I ain't got nothing.
I'm ready for it, dude. Listen, I'm excited for it, man. It was supposed to come out like last year,
Yeah.
and it got pushed back because of COVID. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of that. I mean, for me, it's it's four noticeable that got pushed back. That's coming out this year. So yeah, man, definitely, I'm definitely ready for this one, man. So this is gonna be a dope pod. This is gonna be a reactionary pod.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, man. Can't wait for it to come out. I know you super excited about this one. It's right up your alley, so.
Oh yeah, for sure.
this next pod gonna be very, very fun to do. But yeah, man, y'all can follow me at Scooch Bronson. You can follow me on Instagram at Scooch Bronson _TV. You can also follow me on YouTube at Scooch Bronson TV. Make sure you follow View Anon Pod on Instagram and check out that VA Pod Watch group on Facebook.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You can check me out at S.Foster8 on Instagram and Twitter. Stolen Time Pod on Instagram. Stolen Time Podcast on Facebook. 2 brand new podcasts, man, that came out on the 28 minutes or less. You know what I'm saying? I broke down the last season of Shameless. So if you're into that show, go check that out. All major platforms. Also, me and Scoops collaborated on the Stolen Time podcast, man, where we got into the NBA playoffs, man, and had a couple of laughs in between. So go check out the Stolen Time podcast. I would prefer you to go to Spotify if you want to check that out. Spotify, Google Play, iHeartRadio, whatever, Anchor, if you want to go that route. So just go check out those pods, man, because we giving you the content, man.
For sure, man, for sure. And yeah, man, thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for listening. Like they're saying, Hollywood, that's a wrap.
Cut.